And now, your starting lineup for the Laundromat Wars! At frontman from North Carolina, your average gamer! From the great state of Texas and the winner of the Texas Pinball Festival, the purveyor of drama, Overthink Gaming! From the Bay Area of California, the pinnacle of the Laundromat, Lord Sosa! From the Hoosier state of Indiana and the voice of the Laundromat, Kristen Stebbs! Tonight, it's all about Street Fighter, the movie, the game, the tournament. We're going to be hyping it up. We're showing you what you should be practicing, having a few matches. And we have the 25th entrant into Street Fighter, the movie, the game, the tournament. You either love him or hate him. ConsoleFanboy'S, your special guest star. Let's get ready to do laundry.
evil M. Bison has made his bid for world domination. Now the clock is ticking. Who can defeat this madman? Capcom Street Fighter official movie fighters. Colonel Guile and his Street Fighters move in to take Bison out, but arms dealer Victor Sagat destroys their plans with his Devastator.
Fire!
So Guile charges the competition with the savage Street Striker.
God, your time is up!
It's a countdown to the ultimate showdown. Fighting in the street.
Control the world!
Capcom Street Fighter, the official movie collection. Devastator comes with exclusive Sagat figures. Street Striker and other figures each sold separately.
Hey, what's up? Hey.
Yeah, bi-weekly with the Frog Crew. So it started for the memes, as anything does. You know, you see the videos online, the people like, haha, worst game ever, whatever. So we started playing it to mess around and get some of the laughs. And we actually, we did, a random little tournament at, a con, at MagFest, and so many people came out. And we were seeing, such ridiculous, Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter Alpha 3 level stuff. Yeah. And people were sticking around and explaining it to us, and, here's how this works, here to break that down. And that sense of community has been wild. So it got to the point, just from messing with it and realizing we love it, we started dragging arcade machines to places so people could play it. Corona hit, and we just built this whole online thing. And people have just been coming out, and every time we play it, we see something new and ridiculous. And then it's immediately run to the lab and try to figure out why it works that way. So it's wild, the game for so many years, and we're still finding things about it at this point. You could tell they definitely threw a bunch of stuff at the wall to see what stuck. You know, we've all heard the stories. But I've never seen a game where all of the things that go wrong actually enhance the game in some way. It's not like, oh, watch out for this bug. It's, how do I do that bug? How does that affect the meta of the game? Yup. Same guys that made Bloodstorm. Oh.
Yeah, you know what? I'm excited because I think we're going to have some matches here from our regular Street Fighter the movie, the game players. And we got Sosa's probably going to try to challenge one of them, I'm sure. I don't know what happened to Bill at all. Bill just disappeared.
Yeah, we got our buddy Mike Marco is actually sitting in Fight Kid. I told him, I was like, hey, we're gonna have some games, and he was like, yes, hit me up instantly.
I'm pretty sure that Marco would play this game under any circumstance short of being in a coma.
Yeah, Marco's wild. Marco's one of our best players. Marco is always down for games.
So out of every game, would you guys say that this is your favorite game of all time?
I wouldn't
Yes.
say my favorite game, because my favorite game is not even a fighting game, but it's my favorite Street Fighter. And it's definitely one of my favorite fighting games.
Yeah, of the fighting genre, I'd say it's my favorite, probably.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a good game. I love this game.
Like, I came from, like I said, like Alpha 3, I played a lot of Marvel. So, like, once I realized that DNA was here, like, you can do the juggles and the corner to corner and all that, it just clicked.
Hey, UAG, did you fix your mic?
I believe so. Let's go ahead and get a test real quick. Let me know if the chat, if you can hear me now.
I think people can hear you now. I got reports.
Okay. Perfect.
We got an echo, apparently.
But we have an echo. So let's do this. There should be no echo, and everybody should be in the clear now. And I got I had someone back there that disappeared on me. Okay, so we're good now. Okay.
Yeah, the thing about this game,
Mike, we don't need your comments in the chat being disrespectful now, bro. We don't need that.
Oh, what's Mike saying?
He's just being.
He's being
douchey. He got salt in his vagina. So.
Oh, were they one of the receivers of a pineapple?
Oh, actually, he was. He got the pineapple.
Many pineapples.
He got to put it in leaf first, so he's a little salty. So again, you started doing the whole tournament for the means, and then you built this thing. So how big has this thing got for you guys?
It's gotten pretty big. Like, we're not talking like super major like combo breaker levels of stuff, but it's gotten to the point where we have enough regulars to be in double digits. We do a lot of fundraisers and stuff like that. And it's like people will ask us like, "Hey, you bring in Street Fighter? We got to have that there. It's a big draw." Like, it's taking off is the thing. We've been fighting for years to really break down the misconceptions of people just being like, "Oh, you're playing that game?" And it's one of those things where once people touch it and they start like actually trying it out, I've very rarely seen someone that does not stick around and love it. Like, once they dig in and they start understanding how the game works and all of that. So it's just been going up recently.
Yeah, are there any characters that you think you should stay away from in this game?
Oh, yeah. So, this is, again, like, the tier list shifts constantly in this game. But the thing we've kind of come to realize is Chun-Li, Cammy, and Zangief are probably the bottom three. We argue about it, we go back and forth, like, we keep finding things and experimenting, but... I mean, when you got somebody like Guile who can do literally anything he wants in the game, or Akuma who breaks how the game works... You're kind of like, why do I want to play as, like, just Cammy, who has, like, that one thing that's really good, you know?
I heard Cammy and Chun-Li are like the worst in the whole game.
Yeah. Even then, like, Chun-Li has a full screen infinite. Like, from the full screen, I can just throw a fireball that loops you and you're stuck. So, like... Yeah, like, everybody has really broken stuff, but it's like when you compare somebody having one broken tool to somebody who's got, like, 30 interlocking broken tools... You kind of like you're just losing at numbers.
What's more broken, Street Fighter the movie, the game, or like X-Men versus Street Fighter?
You know, that's tough.
Because I know X-Men versus Street Fighter is broken as hell.
I would say, I mean, we haven't unlocked the full potential of this game yet, so for all we know, it could be that. X-Men versus Street Fighter, though, you're talking like you're breaking how the camera works at one point, you know? But it's that same... I would say it's the same style of brokenness, though. It's just a little bit more fundamental. What we get a lot of people is they come in and they're trying to play it like traditional Street Fighter and wondering why it feels weird and things aren't working. But if you approach this like, say, I like to joke, I say this is the Street Fighter anime game. It's got like mid-air footsies and whatnot. If you find a character you vibe with and you go in on that, it's literally now just a game of what kind of things can I explore here.
So a lot of people are going to sign up for this tournament just to have fun, I think, because we're a community that we just like all levels are welcome. You know, you could sign up for the tournament and, you know, you win, you lose, you lose. It's no big deal. At the end of the day, it's just to have something to do, have fun, have a chance at some prize money. So like, say you're somebody that hasn't played this game much before. What character would you choose and why?
Pick Akuma. Akuma is we think he's very, very top tier right now. Like, we'll argue it's either him or Guile, but if you have no idea what you're doing, and I'm usually the guy that's the one telling people this stuff, like I'm the guy going around like, here's how you get into the game. Akuma's the one that plays most like a Street Fighter character, even though he's still not. And he has really, really easy tools that lead to ridiculous things. Like, he has, his Tatsu is an infinite. Just flat out. Just, you do the hurricane kick over and over on the ground, it's an infinite. So now you're like, okay, well, that seems dumb, but you still have to set it up and do it, you know? But now you got a little bit of something to work with. Throwing fireballs, jumping and throwing fireballs, fantastic with Akuma. We've actually had a little bit of a top player who doesn't like this game, that they built an entire empire with this game upon just doing that. Jump back, throw fireballs, run down the clock, teleport out of the way. It works. There's ways around it. Yeah. There's a thing in this game called intersection. It's a glitch in the corner where you can actually both be overlapping on top of each other. And if you're doing that, they can't get pushed out, so you could just crouch and mash jab. Akuma's real good for setting that up, you know? Throw a super fireball, teleport behind it, you got it usually. His super fireball breaks the camera. It becomes unblockable randomly sometimes. So if you're a player that's familiar, you'll know ways around it. But if you're playing like a fun Z bracket and nobody's really familiar, throw a super fireball, teleport. That's gonna be unblockable. Walk in behind it.
So guys, you know, I want to ask the serious question. How bad is this movie to you guys? On a scale of 1 to 10. 10.
There's a whole story behind everything that went wrong with that movie. Like, a guy that was working on the movie wrote out this giant thing back in the day on the Shoryuken forums. And it was everything from, like, they kept changing the script. Capcom told us we couldn't do things. They fucked up the editing. So the fact that a movie came out that people will actually be able to watch is incredible. Usually things like that, they just get thrown in the garbage. When I first watched it, I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever. You know, I'm looking for, like, a real good movie. But then you think, like, too, this came out like Street Fighter 2. Nobody knew the character lore and all that. It didn't exist yet. And they managed to grab all of these things and cram them together and be like, hey, it's almost a movie. And it got to the point where, like, when you start, like Frank said, you look at it like it's a comedy, it's hilarious. Like, quick, change the channel. Like, who the fuck says that?
So the question. So when we was watching, and we watched it yesterday, it was like probably my third time. The first time I was a kid, and it was torturous. I tried to prep myself for it, and I couldn't watch the whole film. But I watched the whole film yesterday, and the one thing I have to say is that it's so, like, the storyline is so, like, all over the place, and it kind of makes no sense to me in half of it. And then they are not very accurate when it comes to, like, the depiction of the characters from the game to the big screen. And one of the characters that I don't think looks very good, but probably is the best thing in this film, was Bison. Like, Bison doesn't look like a true Bison to me, but he probably is the saving grace of the film, for the most part. Yeah, and I could understand that. Like,
So the thing about that movie They got him because he was a classically trained actor. Was first and foremost. They're like, he's going to be able to give these speeches. They didn't know he had cancer when they casted him.
Yeah.
So they literally got him to Thailand, got ready to film, realized what they did, and was like, oh, we got to film this all out of order now. This guy just went through chemo. We got to give him time to recover. Go film some stupid action scenes that have nothing to do with it kind of stuff. Like, Van Damme was constantly on cocaine the entire time. Like, it's documented. They had hired a guy to follow him around and make sure he didn't go partying, and that guy was partying with him. One of the actors... Yeah. One of the actors got dysentery and almost died. T-Hawk. That's why he's barely around. Like the only guy that really Zangief's actor was all about it. Like, he didn't know what was going on. He's like, this is fun. I want to do this 110%. So
and you can probably tell from his acting in it. He seemed, again, I would prefer someone a little bit more with a little bit more muscle mass, but he's probably the best interpretation of from the game to the big screen. Everybody else looked like they got them from the Dollar Tree.
That's kind of fun with it, though. I like to look at what went wrong is my thing with a lot of things. Like, I'll watch a movie. It's not just like, oh, I liked it or I didn't. It's what did they fuck up and what would I do differently? And that movie's perfect for that. Like, you got a bullet point list of why did they do this? Why is that going on? And it all just kind of coalesces into this dumb thing.
Also, so I also have to ask you too, because the panel, I think they were on cocaine as well. Vega, they swear by Vega is actually a good interpretation of Vega. I'm utterly upset with Vega. I think Vega's supposed to have blonde hair, blue eyes. I know that you take your liberties when you're doing these films, but that I think is so important, the essence of his character. To
I said it was Vega with an alternate color. It's like if you pick Vega with heavy punch.
It's
Boom.
It's like Cody Rhodes. Sometimes he has brown hair, and then he dyed his hair blonde.
I mean, they didn't even get Guile's hair right. So, I mean, they didn't even get an American guy to play Guile. So that's what we're working with here, He had no idea what was going on. He was like, I need to do the splits. I need to do my kick. Everything else, whatever.
It looked like they made the whole movie just to find some movie for Jean-Claude Van Damme to do, because it wasn't centered around Ryu or Ken. It was we're gonna use Guile.
Yeah.
And then they just.
So they were originally the original script was just about Ryu. And then Capcom kept coming to them being like, you need to put all these characters in, you need to do this, you need to do that. They kept rewriting the script. And what they ended up, what they were trying to go for, and it doesn't work, and it was probably due to the cartoon and the toy line and all that, and things they were trying to tie into it, thinking it was going to be a big deal. They almost turned it into G.I. Joe, is why it's so weird.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way and not as it's supposed to be a good Street Fighter thing, it kind of works, but still, why?
It's like its own movie with just Street Fighter, as the characters, but its own thing going on, and also, I think the worst part, the worst thing that they've done in this film, and there was a lot of bad to it, was Sagat. Sagat is the worst. Sagat,
they fucked him up.
Sagat is 4 feet tall, and he sounds like he's Native American, and it's just so bad.
He's supposed to be from Thailand.
I don't know where the fuck he was from, because that wasn't him.
When they were making the game, they mocapped either the actors or the stunt doubles. And the things with their casting and the way the people were acting and all of that actually affects the game, which is another funny thing. So Zangief, he's one of the worst characters in the game because the actor was having so much fun that when he's like, oh, wobble back like you're dizzy, and he's doing this, that gives him longer frames. So his wobble, or whatever you call it, his stagger, lasts longer than other characters. So there's infinites that only work on him. Akuma's actor didn't care, so they didn't have enough frames. So when he's staggered, he can actually still block when he's not supposed to be. Sagat's not tall enough, so they had to change how he works. Balrog's arms aren't long enough, so they had to add like energy auras to his fists so he could still reach. Those nullify projectiles, like they went nuts with that trying to fix it.
June, where's your guy at? Let's start up a Street Fighter movie game, and I'll jump into to spectate.
Dude, I love the movie,
Marco's
and I love the movie, the game. I think they're both awesome to the max.
So who wants to fight Marco?
Here, I'll fight him.
All right. You'll see him in the Fightcade lobby. It's in Team Marco.
He's on top. Just send him a.
This ought to be good. What do you think, UAG? Who do you who's gonna pull this off?
Well, I will say this for the infinity that Sosa has. I'm gonna give him a fighting chance, but it's gonna be hard to tell from a person I've never literally seen him play. But if he's playing in tournaments every 2 weeks, you may have a leg up on this guy. So Sosa may get a victory, but I don't think he's gonna win the war.
I think Marco probably plays every character in this game at one point or another. We might see Guile, probably Honda, but
Sosa's a legit fighter.
yeah, I already someone's gonna fight you, and he's like, okay, go. Yeah, challenge him whenever he's ready to go.
I'm plugging it in right now.
All right.
Give me 1 second here.
And we're probably right before we get into it. I'll just say, just for the benefit of anybody in the chat who's not familiar, this game has an interrupt system, kind of like how Darkstalkers or say Alpha Counters or something. They're free. They don't cost any meter. If you see like a green shadow behind somebody doing a move, that's what that is. And that's literally what you're blocking. You hit a certain direction and a certain button, character dependent, breaks you out of things. And this game is stupidly juggle dependent. Like if you pop someone in the air, you can't. Like if you jab somebody jumping in on you, you get a whole juggle depending on who you are.
Yo,
Akuma's
Sosa, did you send a challenge?
I'm fixing the buttons right now.
I didn't know. I was just asking, bro. Calm down. Don't make me come over there and give you a fucking Akuma uppercut.
Or a spinny kick. Skinny kick is the one that wins. Air spinning kick.
Welcome to Dice here, bro. What up, bro? I'm looking at your face and I don't hear nothing. Do you want to speak to me today? No, maybe. Tell me.
Maybe he wants to challenge one of these experts on our panel.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So I'm saying right now, man, I'm not a grandmaster, and I don't pretend to be a grandmaster. I just love the game, bro. You know.
No.
So
if you don't,
know you
if
love
you
the
don't win,
game.
you don't come back home.
That's all you've been talking about for a whole last month is Street Fighter the movie, the game. Street Fighter the movie, the game. Street Fighter the movie, the game.
Well, like
That's
I gotta
awesome.
tell you, like it got to the point, like we ran it for jokes, and then the next year we got an arcade cabinet on a thing. We're dragging it out there to play it for people. Like it was worth it. So like I believe you about saying you love it. It's good to see.
It's
we're
on.
right
It's
into it,
on,
too.
guys.
Well, we're going.
Let me pull up and spectate on my